Hi, I'm Michael, and this is the Two Things Can Be True channel. What if the Bible and a 13 billion-year-old universe aren't in conflict at all?
There's a question that keeps coming up, and it doesn't go away easily. How do you take the Bible seriously and still make sense of a universe that looks billions of years old? For some, it feels like you have to pick a side, faith or science. But what if that's the wrong frame entirely? What if the real story is bigger than that? Because once you step back, you start to realize this isn't just about time. It's about how we understand truth itself. Let's start with something that has shaped this conversation for generations. The timeline in the Bible. For a long time, many people believed the earth was about 6,000 years old. They got there by adding up the ages listed in Genesis, father to son, all the way from Adam to Abraham. On the surface, it seems straightforward. Add the numbers, follow the line, and you get a short timeline. But here's where it gets interesting. Ancient genealogies weren't always written the way we read them today. They weren't designed to be precise timelines in the modern sense. Sometimes they were selective, focused, intentional. There's a concept called telescoping genealogies. It means certain generations can be skipped, not to hide anything, but to highlight key figures. In Hebrew, the word son doesn't always mean a direct child. It can mean a descendant, and father can mean an ancestor. We even see this in the recorded family line of Jesus. Names appear, but not every single generation is listed. So if that same pattern exists in Genesis, then the timeline between Adam and Abraham may not be locked into one exact number. And just like that, the conversation opens up. Now shift your focus outward, way outward to the stars, because this is where the tension really shows up. If the universe were only thousands of years old, then light from extremely distant stars shouldn't even be visible yet. It simply wouldn't have had enough time to get here. This is often called the Starlight Problem, and it's not a small issue. It's one of the biggest challenges for a young universe view. But then, a different idea was proposed, not by ignoring science, but by leaning deeper into it. Dr. Russell Humphreys suggested something based on Einstein's work, specifically on gravity and time. The idea is called time dilation, and it's not speculation. It's a well-tested reality. Time does not move at the same rate everywhere. Near strong gravity, time slows down. Where gravity is weaker, time moves faster. Now think about that for a moment. If, during the early stages of creation, gravity near Earth were extremely strong, then time on Earth could move very slowly. While far out in space, time could move much faster. That would mean something remarkable. From Earth's perspective, only 6 days pass. But across the universe, billions of years unfold. Enough time for light to travel vast distances. Enough time for the stars we see to actually be visible. Same moment, different clocks. And suddenly, what looked like a contradiction starts to look like a possibility. Now, fast forward to what we're seeing today. Modern instruments have given us a deeper look into the universe than ever before. The James Webb Space Telescope has been studying some of the oldest observable objects, including quasars. And what scientists have confirmed is that time behaved differently in the early universe. In other words, time dilation is real. Now, to be clear, this doesn't prove that Earth sits at the center of everything. Most scientists still see the universe as expanding evenly in all directions. But it does reinforce something important. The universe is more complex than our assumptions. And the deeper we look, the more we realize how much we're still learning. So where does all of this leave us? Because at some point you have to step back and ask a bigger question. Not just about time, not just about stars, but about us. Because across every culture, every generation, there's one thing people seem to agree on. Something isn't right. We see it in the world around us. Conflict, selfishness, broken relationships. And if we're honest, we see it in ourselves too. We fall short of what we know is right. We carry guilt. We feel the weight of it. The Bible gives that condition a name, sin, and it traces it back to a moment when something pure became fractured. But here's where the story turns. Because the message doesn't stop at what's broken. It points to a solution. Not something we fix on our own, but something done for us. The Bible says God chose to deal with sin through one man, Jesus Christ. His death wasn't random. It was purposeful, a payment, a sacrifice. And his resurrection, that's the turning point. Because if he truly rose from the dead, then sin and death don't have the final word. And more than that, it means a real relationship with the creator of the universe is actually open. Not earned, not achieved, but offered, freely. So after all the discussions, after all the theories, after all the debates about time and space, we come back to something much more personal. Because in the end, the biggest question isn't how old the universe is. It's this. If something is broken in us, and if Jesus truly rose from the dead, what are we going to do with that truth? That's the question that doesn't stay theoretical. That's the one that follows you home. And whether you wrestle with it quietly or face it head on, it's the one question that matters more than all the rest.
If this gave you something to think about, subscribe and share your perspective in the comments, because conversations like this are how truth gets clearer.
Please support the channel by clicking the logo on the left to go to our channel to subscribe, or the screen on the right for your next video. Thanks again.
Your next video is now ready.